Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigor Mortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the U stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we are dealing with Most Wicker, with another Wicker Saga installment, Her Red Right Hand. So yeah, this is the next installment of the Wicker Saga stories by Shadow Swimmer 77. It's on Creepypasta.wiki, Her Red Right Hand. So you can check it out there along with all the other Wicker Saga stories. But before we get too far ahead, we should probably give our initial recommendations. I'm going to recommend this one.
I'm going to partially recommend this one.
I'll recommend it. Like, it's teetering on, like, conditional because of subject material, but, you know.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. We can talk about that in the discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose before we do that, we should do a rundown. So John, this old cop working out of Arthur's wake, is dealing with a grisly murder scene at an abandoned factory. Earlier that day, a man named Spencer came into the police station, blood splattered, with a bag of gore and a strange, ever-constant smile on his face, telling the authorities where they could find the rest of the bodies. Seems Spencer took his wife and 3 daughters out of their home a few days ago after leaving a message on their door that they'd be gone for a few days, only to bring them to the warehouse and do horrible things to them, filming it all as well in the process, as shown on an antiquated VHS setup with many, many tapes. After getting a call from his daughter, Lisa, asking for how her husband, a fellow cop at the station, Paul, was doing, John lets the CSI boys finish up as he heads back to the station himself to see about getting a proper confession out of the perp. He meets up with Paul at the station, guarding the interrogation room where Spencer is being kept, and the two enter the room with the hopes of getting the man to talk. And boy, does he talk. And a little bit more. After spewing some strange, dark, prophetic words about being her red right hand, credits, the lights go out, and the big murderous man breaks his chains, seemingly becoming a shadow beast, and attacks. He knocks John down and goes for Paul, but John manages to gun the thing down. As more cops arrive to the settling chaos, they help Paul out from under the now dead Spencer. Later on that morning, after finishing processing the report of the night's events, John realizes Paul still had the recorder and forms for the interrogation on his person and must have brought them home with him. As John plans to swing by there, he gets a call from another officer about Spencer. Turns out he was an MD at a hospital who was last seen helping a crazed woman who was going on about weird stuff before biting Spencer and then calming down afterward. Fearing the worst, that Paul might have contracted something in the attack, John races to Paul and Lisa's home, only to find them gone with their daughter, and a message from Paul on the door. Just like how Spencer had left one when he took his family away. Finn. So yeah, I suppose with that out of the way, we should continue on with everyone tolerates the grammar inquisitions. At this point, I've got 2. One is more just like I learned a new word, and the other one was just kind of a glaring thing for me. So,
Fair.
So I'll start with the word I learned. So with this quote. You were a family man once, detective. I can tell. Ever wonder how little girl tastes? Darabont smiled lasciviously. So yeah, lasciviously. Lascivivously. I'm like, what the hell is that word? And it is an adverb that describes an action performed in a way that is lewd, lustful, or sexually suggestive. So I learned a new word today, and that is terribly
Unfortunately. You
Yeah,
unfortunately learned a new word today.
yes, which was terribly apt for the situation.
Yes.
But I'll move on to the next thing I had, which was this. John had practically had to force him back there, only after ensuring him that he and Paul were both fine. So I think the word that needs to be used is actually only after reassuring him that he and Paul were fine. Because, like, you're not going to ensure him that he and Paul are fine.
That's
So
selling
you'll
him insurance on this.
you'll assure him or reassure him. It's like, no, we're fine, everything's good. Like, not like you're gonna think that we're fine. Okay, I'm ensuring that you will do this.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But that's all I've got for a grammar inquisition. So, Mikey, D stands for evil.
I have a conjunction junction.
All right.
And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot doot.
And that I love him. And Charlie's saying, based on her initial screening of the remains, she should be able to pull blood and semen from, well, pretty much anywhere. And what about? It weirded her out, since normally he would have called her, even more when she couldn't get him on his cell. But the note was in Darabont's writing. It was past midnight when he parked in the lot, the shadows dark and thrown long by the lamps lining the way up the path to the administrative entrance. And how's our guest? And your wife is worried why you haven't called. It'd be a breach of protocol to allow one officer in the room with a suspect. So, Dr. Darabont. So, what I'm really curious about is why. Or the next. Or the next. And what choice is that? And as for her, it was crazy. But it seemed to John that Darabont's teeth were lengthening, sharpening. But I'm wondering if he didn't catch some kind of virus or something from Finn.
Something from Finn?
Also, okay, so I am actually kind of like flabbergasted how little connective or like conjunction junctions there are in this one.
Considering how long the story is.
Because I was following along with like scrolling through the story, and I was having to like figure out. Okay, wait, whoa, hang on, I got to scroll a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it is dialogue. So
yes, so it's redeemable, or it's ignorable,
Excusable.
Yeah, that's the word.
Insurable.
Yeah, insurable.
Yeah, that's it. It's absolutely insurable.
No, reassurable.
But for those unaware, Mikey grabs all the sentences throughout a story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts, strings them together into a story with sometimes hilarious results. Basically to highlight that there's always better words to use. Except when it's dialogue, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. New t-shirt design.
And then there was one other thing, which is there is italics peppered throughout for emphasis.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to notice.
Fuck, is there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I'm going to stop bringing up that I never see them because.
For example, I have one here that you're gonna love and hate. Sir, shoot him! I can't hold him. I can't in it now in italics. Og, end italics. Damn it.
I can't.
Or like, hang on. Suddenly he was thrown backwards out of his chair to the ground as an enormous black, in italics, thing out of italics, all glowing red. Like it's definitely using it's using it for emphasis, but use bold.
Or
Bold
just
would have
like
worked better.
or ellipses, because like the way that you read like enormous black thing, like you put a pause in there, like there should be ellipses.
Yeah, that would also work. For the other one though, with like I can't like it's in the middle of a dog. It's obviously like it's more of like a sound effect, or it's like something that like it's an uncontrolled non-verbal like response that he's saying mid conversation or mid dialogue as he's shouting to John to shoot the guy.
Yeah, but does that warrant it being different?
I think
like, he's still saying it with words.
But because it's basically breaking up the dialogue, but like not in a way that like ... would like ... would be like more of like it would be at the end to emphasize like the conversation just being immediately cut off. But for this point, I think if it was like bold, it would kind of emphasize like, oh, he's like I can't damn it. Like I think it would be better if it was like either maybe even in brackets rather than quotes for the dialogue, because that way like we know that like it's obviously like a break in the dialogue because he's like grunting or he's like screaming.
Yeah.
But italics, I mean, they're not really necessary, but like there's better ways to like emphasize what the italics are doing, especially since like I only notice them because I'm searching for them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I think I would have passed by that the italics for like the thing or even og is like kind of like it's only present because it's all capped.
Mm-hmm.
So
which is nice. I appreciate the all caps.
Yeah, but yeah, like again, we beat this dead horse every time.
Yeah, all the time.
This poor horse named Italics. But yeah, so I suppose next up is Gamer with the grammar in yellow.
I actually didn't have any.
All right.
I didn't notice anything glaring. Yeah.
So I guess we'll move on to actual thoughts. So actually, something I didn't bring up earlier about the story. So this is an author's note. The story is inspired by the Song of Joy by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and it was an entry for yet another Creepypasta contest, this time a Koromo's second annual Creepypasta song contest, and it actually won first place.
Not gonna lie, when you were saying like who it's from, I really thought you were gonna say Nick Cage.
Nick Cave, yeah, I understand. Yeah. But yeah, so that's just interesting that like the story was like inspired by a song. I did listen to a little bit of it right before the recording, and I can kind of see like it's not like a direct inspiration, but I can definitely see like kind of like through some of the context clues in the lyrics, like there I could see some of the inspiration, but
for sure.
But yeah, it's just so that's just a little bit of trivia for the story that I should have mentioned earlier before we dove into this one, but starting with my actual thought, or my first actual thought. What had hit John hardest was the old television connected to an ancient VCR, the yellow paper stuck to its black screen reading "Play Me." The scene that unfolded in the first 30 seconds of that video was enough to open John's perspective to just how shallow his understanding of human perversion had been. And then it mentions more about the tapes and stuff, and how like there was tons of tapes and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is suddenly giving me like 1999 and Mr. Bear vibes.
Absolutely.
Also, something that I only kind of came to mind after I'd finished reading, and then as I was grabbing this note and like rereading what I was thinking for this, why do they need a confession from this guy when there are plenty of like video evidence of his heinous acts?
Protocol.
That was kind of my my devil's advocate, my counter devil's advocate.
Plus, he straight up said like when he went into the interrogation room, he said like, I have enough evidence on you that it doesn't matter, but I just want to know. Like, he may have just said that as a lie, but like, it's basically if you get a confession, then there's no way he can get out of it. Like, he's confessed to do it. Here's all the proof that he did it. So great. Meanwhile, if they have the proof, but he doesn't confess that he did it, then he can still argue it and potentially get out or get a lessened sentence.
That's true. Also, they were they're also looking for a motive. Like, why would this guy suddenly just snap? Like, they were even searching for like a journal or some kind of message or some kind of like letter or something like at the scene of the crime to like find out, see if there was like a written motive for what he was doing.
Yep, because they're trying to make sure that he doesn't get out because of how fucked up he is.
Yep. And then the next thing I have here is great. And what about the message? Ramirez shook his head as one. The two men turned to the far end of the crime scene. Amid a litany of other abuses, skin from the torso of the four victims had been delicately removed and spread across one of the factory walls like horrific canvases. A word was painted in blood on each in turn. Her red right hand. Credits. Also, that's my critical silliness.
Of course, yes.
But also, I feel like this, and this is again, as I'm reading the story, I'm taking these notes down. So it's like I feel like this is going to involve Lilith somehow, being it's in the wake, i.e., Arthur's wake, and all. And update. Yep, it's all but confirmed by the end that this is some doing of the All Mother or Lilith. So
she's kind of mean.
Yeah, she's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, really. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, weird. Especially after we saw what happened with what the hell is his name? Not Frank, the guy that Frank possesses. Sarah's husband. It's gone. Sorry.
And it's gone.
Yep. But yeah, so anyway, moving on to the next thing I have here.
Was that in Sarah's story?
Yeah, it would have been in Sarah's story. Are you looking it up?
David, perhaps?
Yeah, Frank David. David
possibly.
Frank.
Yeah. I just opened up my notes because I have a cast list at the top of my notes.
Oh, nice. I forget that you do that.
Yeah, I do too many things.
Hey, it's
too
good
much
to have
useless
it.
information.
You know what? Like a little bit BTS here. When I was writing up the rundown for this one, I actually had to go back into the story because I was like, what the hell is this murderer guy's name? Like, I was like, I was just gonna call him the perp for the rest of the story, but then I was like, no, I should actually look. It's like John was the old cop, Paul's the new cop, and plus the son-in-law, Lisa, and then like Spencer. That's what it was. I was like, otherwise it was just gonna be the perp or like the murderer man.
Yeah, for sure. And I started doing a cast list because at one point I was reading a story and there was a million characters and I couldn't keep them straight. So I'm just like, okay, this person, that's their name. Okay, write a description beside them. There, I know. Moving on. And then just do that for every character so I could actually keep them straight. And then I just kind of kept doing that ever since.
Yeah, for sure. It's a smart way for us. It's a very smart thing for a story for a show that reviews written documents or written stories. So, but I digress. I'll move on to the next thing I have. Throughout these preliminaries, John had slowly become aware that something was off about Darabont. No, really? The strange shadowiness and red glint in his eye, the perpetual smile, seems like a perfectly normal dude to me.
Yeah.
but in all seriousness though, I have actually been eating honestly up as I've been writing down the story and as I continued reading the story, I was really just eating up this story thus far. I do have to kind of commend the story personally. I really enjoyed the this police procedural horror story, because that's kind of what it is. It's a detective story with some decent I don't know how much of it is accurate in terms of police procedural, but there's enough details here that don't seem wrong that I was able
Yeah.
to like suspend my disbelief. And like, no, this actually kind of seems accurate. Like this actually, and I was like kind of getting into the setting. Also, the characters are pretty well fleshed out, or at least fleshed out enough
Mm-hmm.
that like even like the call with his daughter, like the little back and forth between John and Paul, and like John and some of the other characters in the story, like it was good. Like I was eating it up. I was actually finding not until like near the end I was I was having difficulty actually like I was looking up like I don't have any notes. So I should probably go back and like check like mark some things like for highlighting some stuff, because like again usually when I'm taking notes it's like to like something that is off about the story, but like and usually I wait till the end before I start like highlighting things that are good about the story.
Yes.
But yeah,
And to what you said, it does seem relatively legit to all the procedures that going on, and like especially since lately I've been watching The Flash on Netflix, which is a show about Barry Allen as a CSI investigator, and I just finished playing RoboCop, which is another like, police procedural kind of game. So like my headspace is already in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
And actually, by that virtue, I have also been watching some shows like Resident Alien does have a little bit of like police procedural, like murder mystery kind of thing. So, though not as dark as this one.
No, most wouldn't.
Though again, one thing I want to bring up because you were saying like like partial, like teetering on a partial because of like the material. It's like I do agree. Like this one again, this one's pretty dark. It isn't as bad as the last one we did.
No.
It was not as visceral. Like, yes, it was like there were like mention of like cruelty and like some possible essay toward like both a grown woman and also some children in this one, but it wasn't like in detail.
Yes, it was implied, which was more than enough. Thank you for not going further with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was all like hint and like let the reader's imagination turn on them and like hang themselves with their own mental rope, basically. So yeah, it's tasteful. Tasteful scene dressing. It's like thank God, like, but like in a way that again, like we say that in like kind of in jest because like tasteful and like this material doesn't go hand in hand at all.
It's really not.
But it is an apt description for like when an author writes a segment in a story that has such heavy material, but does it in a way that isn't like just very detailed and like makes you want to like not read.
Yeah, it's in the least offensive way possible, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is almost I'd say this is probably up there with like some of the earlier Wicker Saga story stuff, rather than like the last one we did, which was actually shit. What was the last one we did?
It's too long ago.
I know Father's Love. Yeah. Father. Another. Oh God, you had another story with a father like fucking over. That was a poor choice of words. Nope, that one's even worse.
A father being bad.
Yes, being bad to his family. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Basically, men are horrible.
Yeah. Well, possessed men are horrible.
Possessed anything are horrible.
Yeah. I mean, that's also not true. I mean, like, there's some things that possess people that aren't always demons, but generally in horror, yes, it's not good.
You're gonna have a bad time if you're possessed. That's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah. But I mean, all right. That's all I wanted to say about that. Was like, yeah, the story, like, it has some dark material, but it's not as bad as we've read. So in this series, even so. I'll move on. Let's move on to something a little bit later.
Okay.
So the next thing I have here is the silence pregnant with anticipation. John's perception took on a kind of hypersensitivity. The taste of the burger he had for lunch caked the back of his throat, and he could smell the faintly sweet aroma of Paul's aftershave behind him, accompanying the stench of the dark ichors staining the prisoner's clothes in his front, or to his front. Wow. Yeah, I guess John must have skipped dinner. Also seems like a long time for the taste of lunch to linger, since at this point it's after midnight.
It's a
That must
really
be
good burger.
either that's a really good burger, and that is some hypersensitivity indeed.
It's almost like there's some like weird supernatural phenomenon going on right now.
Well, I think the hypersensitivity is more just like, again, when you're afraid or when you like have like a tense moment, like your senses all suddenly become much more
Yeah.
heightened. So, but yeah, it just seems. Again, I'm just poking fun at the story because a lot of my critical silliness is just because like I enjoyed the read. Now I get to make poke some fun at small
Yes.
things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like, hi. So you missed dinner. And again, like he probably missed dinner because he was dealing with like the crime scene they found. So, but yeah, just the being able to still taste your lunch, like 10 hours or more after the fact. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. Why, I'm the red right hand detective, her prophet, the one who prepares the path, spreading discord and despair wherever I roam. And as for her, he laughed. It was crazy, but it seemed to John that Daramont's teeth were lengthening, sharpening. She is the All-Mother, the first, the one who leads the way, he grinned. Into darkness. Abruptly, the lights in the station went out. I was wondering at this point in the story when the ball was going to drop and like more outright supernatural shit was going to hit the fan.
Right about now.
Yeah, right now.
And go.
And no, again, not in a bad way. Like, again, I was really enjoying the kind of like millennium-esque creepy murder and interrogation and like cop horror that we were getting. Like the sort of like being like dealing with like a horror story that has more with like to do with like a murder criminal rather than like some supernatural monster. But then it goes a little bit further into millennium style or X-Files style like horror by having, oh no, the murder is also supernaturally involved.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else remember the show Millennium, or am I the only one? Had like Lance Henriksen as like a detective who could like psychically get into the heads of murderers, and like also often dealt with some like kind of idiosyncratic supernatural like crime scenes. Am I the only one? It was like kind of like
might only be you.
it was kind of it was alongside the same. It was around the same time as like X-Files, and in fact, like the ending of Millennium has the X-Files kind of crossover in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat, but no, I do not remember because I never saw it.
Fair enough. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. The light leaking from the light leak. Yeah, the light leak. Yeah. It's like a tongue twister.
A little bit.
The light leaking in from the hallway provided just enough illumination so he could see Spencer Darabont, limp and lying face down where he'd fallen on top of Paul's unmoving form. John lowered his gun to his side, a black hole rapidly expanding in his stomach. God, oh man, oh God, oh God, oh man. Oh, sorry. Oh God. How was he going to tell Lisa? He tensed when Darabont shifted. Fucking hell, Paul groaned. John, you think you could get this fat ass off of me? So, on the one hand, I'm surprised and also glad that Paul actually survived this story. Because I was definitely thinking like, oh, Paul's dead. Like
Did
John's
he survive though?
I'm getting there. Because like earlier on, like John's talking to Paul's wife, like, oh, I hope he's okay. Like, you better like make sure he's okay. It's like, oh yeah, no, Paul's got a red shirt on.
Yeah,
It's new standard issue at the police station.
Yep.
He's 8 weeks to retirement. Being a rookie.
That's just literally them firing him because they're just sick of him.
Yeah. No, it was just like, oh man, I'm so glad that okay. And I was also thinking like, oh man, Paul's dead from like being chomped on by Shadow Spencer, or like the shadow, like the bullets are gonna go through the apparition that is like Spencer and hit Paul, like, and it's gonna turn out like that. I was like definitely expecting to see a scene where like the other cops show up and like it's sort of framed to look like John shot Paul. So I was happy
Yeah,
that
I thought that was going to happen. Honestly,
I was happy that didn't happen. However, something struck a chord with me immediately at this moment, like when Paul like started talking. He said John and not Sir. And there's a moment earlier in the story where like John kept having to tell Paul like stop calling me Sir, it's John. But then Paul kept calling him Sir. And at this point I was like, I hope for Lisa and Becky's sake I'm wrong, but I think Paul just got possessed.
oh, absolutely.
And update, sadly I was wrong, because it all just kind of starts like it basically like just going by the numbers, like there's that like moment after like, oh good, Paul's okay, like all right, he's going home to his family and kid. All right, like John's there's a calm in the storm. John's like doing all the paperwork, like getting out that morning. Oh, Paul still has the recorder and all that stuff. I'll give him a call. Oh wait, I got a phone call. What do you mean? Like this Spencer guy like had a crazy person like bite him, and then she was fine afterward, and then he got crazy. And I was like, yep. And then he races to the house, and there's the note on the door, and no one's home, and it's like, fuck.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just like it like what's I heard like, John, you think you could get this fat ass off of me? I was like, oh no. Like,
oh, you thought immediately?
Yes, like call it genre savvy, call it like just like I've been reading enough of these stories that the instinct kicked in. I was like, I think Paul's possessed right there in that moment. Like I caught that little I don't know if it's a subtle thing, but or maybe it is for other people, but like for me it was just like, oh, I caught that. He said John, not Sir.
The thing is though, he slipped a couple of times, but it wasn't consistent. Like he didn't straight up say like, no, I refuse. I'm going to call you Sir while we're working. If he said that, then that would be a little bit more obvious, but he did slip a couple of times and actually say John.
However, like even like right before, like as he's being attacked, and then like like he's like, Sir, shoot him, Sir, like that, and then this part, like John, can you get this guy off me? It's like, oh fuck, he's not calling him Sir anymore. Like suddenly the genre savvy paranoia kicked in. I was like, who's infected now?
Yeah.
I don't mean that in like a bad way. It was just like I just caught it. I was like, oh. And now I get to watch this tragedy unfold.
Yeah, true. Like he was still saying Sir while under the like duress of being attacked by a monster.
Yeah.
So like even during that, he didn't like regress to just calling him by his name.
Yeah, I think, and unfortunately, the author does go ahead and not like say like give any specific like injury, like doesn't like highlight any specific injury that he's taken. Like it mentions, I think, in the story, like Paul sustained some like minor scratches and stuff like that, but no like full on bite wound. So at least it's like there's enough, like that's enough to like kind of throw you off a little bit. But like then we get the revelation of like he was in the ER dealing with some crazy woman who was like spouting gibberish and then attacked him and bite him in the arm, and then she went like, and then she calmed down immediately after that when they sedated her and such. Like, so that like is a revelation, and like because like us and John are like, oh fuck, he's like, did it just transfer to Paul, like whatever crazy, and then but yeah, it was enough. I think it was subtle enough. It was just like for some people who like read these kind of stories a lot, we're gonna get like some of us are gonna be like, oh, what happened? There was a change here. But again, in a good way, because like I was. It sounds weird. I enjoyed the tragedy spiral.
That's another T-shirt.
Yeah. Or, like right up there was like narratively, I enjoyed their suffering.
Yeah.
I kind of want that shirt, honestly.
Yeah. You really have to preface that one though.
Narratively, I enjoyed their suffering. Any horror enthusiast ever.
Hmm.
But I digress. That's actually all I've got for my actual thoughts for the story. So,
Okay.
Mikey, these stands for evil.
Alright. So I have a question.
Sure.
Paper or plastic?
Is this about the bag that had all the gore?
Yep.
Canvas.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of assumed that as well because it had body parts in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that works.
And that there was like it did say that there was like a dripping, like a drip of blood.
And it wouldn't have necessarily dripped too much out of a plastic bag. Also, a plastic bag would have just ripped with the contents.
With the amount of
And a
gore
paper
in this
paper
one-
bag.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And a paper bag wouldn't have lasted long, so it would have been. It would have had to have been like like a backpacker, again, like one of those like
Or
Walmart
duffel bag.
or I was even thinking, a duffel bag, or even like a Walmart like or grocery store like canvas bag that they have nowadays.
Mm.
Especially since like he probably drove to this place, the police station, in the family car, and I mean, if it's anything like my family's cars, we have like there's usually a ton of those canvas bags in the back because everybody switched from either like plastic or paper to those canvas bags.
Mm-hmm. There's also a ton because you end up forgetting that you have them there.
Yeah.
So you have to buy more.
So, yeah. But yeah, so that's my answer is canvas. A or B, C.
Yeah.
That works. All right. Yeah, because that makes it a lot more feasible.
I thought you were like, oh, that's all I've got. I was like, really?
No,
You're
no.
hanging up with the bait. I know.
And then I'll do this quote again. It was in the It story. And Carly's saying, based on her initial screening of the remains, she should be able to pull blood and semen from, pretty much anywhere. So, to me, that sounds like there's a lot of semen.
Yep.
Uh,
Like, and then we get in the interrogation some confirmation about that, and it's gross.
Yup.
Yeah.
Do we need to dwell on this?
Yeah, we should.
Well-
sorry, Mikey, continue.
it's just that one guy can only produce so much semen.
Okay, but if he's demonically possessed, like,
And also, like, how long did this go on for?
yeah, like,
It's
'cause,
not like this is just a single night.
yeah, oh god, yeah, because they could have been there for like, because this place is an abandoned factory, and they've been gone for a few days from where they were. So, yeah, he might have prolonged this suffering.
Yeah. It's just. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. We agree with you. It's gross,
Yes.
but you do have to agree it is more tasteful than the last story.
Using the word tasteful too
it's
much
not-
around really
it's
weird
like-
shit.
Yeah, because like again, there's hints. Like there's like it's much more subtle. I guess is like it's because it's like it's hinting like it's not straight up just like describing like the brutality and like the actual sequence, but it's like kind of it's nodding toward it, kind of.
It's saying without showing.
Yeah, even when in the interrogation, like he references what he did, and even like quotes some of his daughter's reactions, but like not in a, and that's probably like the worst it gets. I think is like him just like quoting what his daughters were saying and stuff like that when he was doing stuff.
Mhm.
But again, like that's not as bad as if he was like we just get full description of the video.
Yeah, considering the videos were like a prominent thing in the intro, I really thought it was going to go there.
No, and actually, in fact, the video, the way the way it's described, like the video, like the first 30 seconds, is honestly reminds me of how that kind of stuff is dealt with in certain shows, like in the season 1 of True Detective, there is a grisly essay sequence involving children on video that a character sees, and we don't see it. We don't see the video, what's on the screen. We are behind the TV watching the actor or watching the detective, and his face just starts shutting down.
Yeah.
As he's rolling sand checks basically against helplessness.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was kind of how this story was taking this material, and I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah.
Especially after the last story we had to read.
Yeah, that's why that last one was such like a struggle. It's like, I don't want to read this, dude.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. We appreciate, like, it's a horror story. Like, there's going to be some dark themes and, like, it's going to be graphic. But you also want to be entertained by horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sorry, Mikey. We keep taking over your spot.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
The section where he explains that he fed his victims to each other.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty gross. I mean that's reminded me of one of the Hannibal movies where Hannibal feeds the brain to the same guy after he fries it and sautés it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should be concerned that you're giggling about this.
Honestly, it is kind of funny. It's black comedy. It's dark comedy. It's macabre humor. Like, because it is kind of funny. Like when from a certain point of view, it is kind of funny. Like this guy being fed his own brains. But again, in context of like, all right, we're watching a horror thing from the safety of a couch or wherever. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that alone, the whole feeding them to each other, and the whole telling him to stop hurting, or the wife telling him to stop hurting the babies or the kids.
Yeah.
That section actually reminded me of the Pancake Family.
Oh, the Pancake Factory, or the Pancake. Well, Pancake Factory. Oh, the Pancake Family. Oh, that very humorous tale. Body horror. You were in that one too. Oh, you may have scrubbed it from your. Oh, do you? Or sorry, you may have.
I remember.
You remember?
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't body horror fun, guys?
I prefer body horror.
Yes. Yeah.
And the last actual thought here is that at the end, we technically get her blue left hand. Because the guy's a cop.
Oh. Yeah. Her red right hand, his blue left hand. Symbology. There's symbolism there with, like, red and blue. Cop
red
siren.
versus blue. It's all a video game.
I was going with more like the red light, blue light of the sirens of the police. Okay.
You both failed to nail it. It's fine.
Yeah. We both failed to strike strike the landing.
Stick the landing, you mean?
That's what I meant.
Speaking of not nailing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's into my actual thoughts.
All right. Gamer.
I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to jump in on at this point. Aside from like all the stuff we've already said, we're like, the subject material is questionable and concerning, but that's what makes horror. You're supposed to be unsettled, but it's not done to a point where I felt like I wanted to stop reading. So yeah, and like literally all that you guys have said, are like I've been like ticking off my notes. It's like, oh no, talked about that and that. It's like I appreciated the believable characters and like the way that this was written. It was very visual, sometimes to my own sanity's detriment on some of the situations, but that's fine. So yeah,
It did its job. It horrified you.
yeah. Thanks. I hated it.
Yeah, this creepypasta creeped you out. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I suppose we should move on to final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I'm still going to recommend it. I don't think it's as bad as some of the other ones that we've read, so I don't think for me personally, I wouldn't merit it needing a conditional recommendation, but it's a good police procedural horror. Though personally, it projects the twist a little bit. I think more than it should, but it's not terrible at it. That said, I really did enjoy the read. It felt lived in, like we get to know enough about the characters in it before their demise or their tragedies. And yeah, like I kind of said earlier, it kind of gives me the same kind of vibe that like X-Files, Millennium, The Outer Limits, like those kind of episodic shows like that, the shows that deal with like police procedurals and mysteries and like horror like elements and supernatural like elements of like, is this just a serial killer or a murderer, or are they doing something more like kind of less than normal and preternatural? So I really dug it for that kind of vibe. Again, another tale in the Wicker Saga series that I actually kind of feel stands on its own as much as another thread in the tapestry that is the Wicker Saga series. Like I don't think this story, honestly, like you could probably read this story without having to read the other Wicker Saga stories, and it'd be fine. It works as like another kind of, like I said, like another thread in the tapestry, but it also works on its own.
Yep, I agree.
So, but yeah, that's why I'll recommend it. So, Mikey, these stands for evil.
All right, so I did like the detective angle, and there was a amount of creepiness to it. There's a supernatural aspect to it, but I really didn't need the insinuation that there was semen everywhere.
Really, just gonna die on that hill.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the semen was a sticking point for you?
Well, the insinuation.
Phrasing.
The insinuation that there's almost as much blood as there is semen just doesn't. It makes it more gross than creepy. Like if they mention that there's semen as well, not just that.
Well, I mean, they could be like, okay, the way it's said in the story, I kind of took it as just like, yeah, no, there's semen, like there. It's not like, oh god, there's tons of white fluid as well as the red fluid. Like, no, it's just like they're for their forensic scientists, they're finding that fluid as well as blood like everywhere, and like which is usually just like they're kind of also disturbed that like, oh no, this is also of a sexual nature, not just of a murderous nature.
Yeah, like there's trace amounts of it everywhere. Not that it's Randy Marsh sneaking into the porn shed of that lack of internet episode where he's like, "Who's a spooky ghost?" It's not one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you're taking it a little too far in your mind, but
perhaps.
If I'm being honest, but
it's totally a Randy Marsh scenario.
Oh god. You never go full Randy Marsh scenario.
No.
So, yeah, that being said, I'm still only going to give this a partial.
All right. And Gamer?
Well, for for me. I said it before, questionable subject matter, but that's horror. But like often I find through reading all these different like stories that we've gone through over the multi-hundreds that we've done, often real world horror can be like way more terrifying than anything fantastical because it's potentially real. And while this does have like a tinge of supernatural with like a demon or whatever doing it, and swapping hosts, it's doing it just so it could do more real world horror over and over again, which is kind of like the worst possible thing to have happen.
Yeah.
Because like it's bad enough if horrible events happen and then the guy gets killed or captured or something, but if like that reasoning behind that event just transfers to another person with no one knowing, so it could just go again, that's horrible.
Yeah, like it's even when the serial killer is caught, the serial killing still keep happening because the serial killer has not been caught. It's just swapped bodies.
Yeah, it's just constantly framing innocent people.
Yeah, and again, like that's the horror of helplessness because like these people are like the killer, like the physical killer is as much a victim as the victims in the killing.
Yeah.
In most time, for the most part, because like it's the whatever parasitic thing that's popping from body to body. So.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but overall, I enjoyed the read because it creeped me out and it read quite well. I didn't really notice much in the way of grammar to talk about, and everything made sense by the end. There was no loose threads or nothing. Yeah, I enjoyed it, so I'll recommend it. Though slight conditional if you're recommending it to someone who might not take kindly to the things that happen.
All right, yeah, that's fair. All right, so I guess a recommendation, a non-recommendation, and a conditional recommendation.
Just call it a recommendation. It's fine.
Two recommendations.
Yeah.
Possible conditional and a non-recommendation.
Well, a partial.
Oh, sorry, a partial recommendation. Yeah.
So used to saying that Mikey doesn't recommend it.
Yeah. Am I wrong, Mikey?
Do you want me to change my recommendation?
No. Unless you're moving it to a full recommendation. All right, so two recommendations with a conditional option and a partial recommendation for this one. And I think that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. Some of us are on Blue Sky. Mikey, for example, is at the E stands for evil, and I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content. To all our patrons helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate them. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely. Because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, writing and posting these stories on the internet, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now's a good time to mention that we are a part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night, an actual play and creepypasta podcast network. We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.